This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. I could actually do separate videos on this. I could break each one down, but I figured it would be repetitive since these are all just things I've seen in the last few days. Now, the last few days, I've tried to not look for things. I've tried to give my mind a bit of a rest. And no matter where I was, whoever I was around, whatever was on the TV in the background, all of these things just pop up right in front of my face. And I feel led to have to show everybody this stuff because it is amazing how much they are putting into these movies, television shows, and music videos. You just saw the music video I did by Young Thug with Lil Uzi Vert, or Lucifer, whatever you want to call him, which was just, you got people dancing around with pentagrams on their face, people's complete bodies painted in the black and white Masonic checkers. I mean, you can't make it up. So let me start with this, the movie Blockers, right? This is another one of those movies from Judd Apatow. They keep pushing these movies. They're just filled with perversion. It's the same thing over and over, trying to, normalize young teens having sex and doing all this stuff. People seem to find this stuff amusing. I have a sense of humor. This might have been, and I didn't see this thing fully in its entirety, but I happened to be somewhere where it was on and saw some parts of it. Maybe one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's really like going to the dentist office. But not only were they flashing the 666 over and over, which has become a trademark of John Cena, whose, wrestling character is built on holding up the 666 sign and then gearing him and marketing him towards young kids just to indoctrinate them with their satanic Masonic hand symbols. But get a load of this scene, which it's just randomly there. You'd say, well, how does this make sense? How is this even funny? But I guess part of the plot was that he was looking for his daughter who was, having sex on prom night, and he kicks in a hotel room door, and what's going on inside the room? Oh, it's a bunch of kids doing a satanic ritual.
Play sports! Play sports!
And of course he cracks a joke, so they try to make humor around it like, hey, it's not some type of weird thing. It's not a big deal. This is how they normalize this stuff, right? You have these kids dressed up in the mask, the same stuff that we see from, the Rothschild ball and all these Illuminati balls and galas that they have, and they normalize it, right? A bunch of kids on prom night doing a satanic ritual in a hotel bedroom or a hotel room, and it's no big deal, right? And they do a little joke, and that's how they desensitize people to it. So this is the movie Blockers, which, again, one of the worst movies probably of all time. But again, they were just pushing this stuff in there subliminally, okay? They don't have to have the plot of the movie be about these topics, but by having the characters participate in it, by using comedy to deflect, this is how they desensitize people and normalize this stuff. Then we get a scene from the TV show The Bachelorette, which is the female version of The Bachelor, which is one of the more popular shows on TV. And this is another way that they just normalize things, right? They go on a date. And where do they go? They go to some gothic party. And what are they normalizing? They're normalizing drinking blood.
We went from having fun to throwing frosting in each other's face to this gothic party. I mean, there was these dudes playing instruments that were in all black, and then there was some drinks they had that looked like a cup of blood.
Because how many times have I talked about this? They are going to continue to normalize this stuff. They're going to normalize cannibalism. They're going to normalize drinking blood. This is all stuff that's going to be normal because this is how these people live. This is what these people do. You think somebody just wrote that in? Hey, it would be really funny and romantic on their date if they went to some goth party where they talked about death and all this stuff and everybody was drinking, red Gatorade pretending that it was blood. Now, obviously, it's not real blood that they're drinking. You could tell that it's like High C or Gatorade, but it's the point. Right? They use humor again. They go, oh, okay, well, they're going to be drinking and pretending that they're drinking blood. Well, who would want to pretend that they're drinking blood unless they were trying to normalize this stuff? I mean, is this what regular people are doing on your 4th of July party? Did everybody pretend that they were drinking blood instead of Gatorade? When you were eating burgers and hot dogs, did you pretend instead of eating a burger that you were eating a human heart? I mean, right? If you went to someone's 4th of July party and they said, hey, Okay, everybody, here are the burgers, but we're going to pretend that we're eating baby's flesh. I mean, would everybody have a big laugh about it, or would everybody be creeped out and probably throw the burger at the guy who made it and walk out? So then to say, oh, on a TV show like this, oh, well, they're just trying to be funny. What's funny about it? What's funny about them pretending to drink blood? What they're doing is they're normalizing this stuff. So you get it in mainstream shows like The Bachelorette. You get it in mainstream popular movies, comedy movies like Blockers. And then, of course, there's the trailer for this film, Mandy, which is just as occultic as it gets, which is, you could see the poster before I show you the clip. You could see the poster for the movie. You could see everybody inside of what? Inside of a pyramid. And take a look for yourself. You could even see the girl sitting on the bed wearing the upside down pentagram on her shirt, the Baphomet pentagram. Right? Normalizing all of this stuff. Making it seem like, hey, oh, there's crazy cult people out there, but don't worry about it because it's just a movie. No, in fact, it is real, and it does happen.
Under the crimson, primordial sky, the wretched warlock reached into the dark embrace. His fist closed around the serpent's eye. Strange and eternal.
I need you to get me that girl I saw. Do you know what to do? You're a special one, Mandy. I, too, am a special one. Let us be so very special together.
So what you gonna do with that, man?
I'm going hunting.
So what you hunting?
The plot of the movie. Somewhere in the wilderness in the year 1983, Shadow Mountains, Nick Cage's character has fallen deeply for the deceptively charming Mandy Bloom. However, the life he has made for himself comes crashing down suddenly and horrifyingly when a vile band of cultists and supernatural creatures desecrate his home with vicious fury. Right, so you can see that there's demonic entities coming into the home. This woman seems to be possessed. She's obviously some type of witch because, you could see her, what she's saying at the clip that I played, and you could see the shirt that she's wearing, right, with the pentagram on it. So just another one of these movies where they're normalizing this stuff, where it's coming out of the shadow. I mean, this is in the last couple days. This isn't me, let me dig and try to find this stuff. This is 3 things that I've seen maybe in the last 48 hours. That I've just, I happen to stroll across and see and not be seeking out. Because it's everywhere. Even when you try to not see this stuff, you see this stuff. Even when you're saying, hey, I'm going to take a breather from it. Well, obviously, you can't take a breather. You can't see anything with the TV. But anywhere you go, there's going to be a TV on and people are going to be watching it because that's how they're getting programmed. Right? So pretty much your only option is to stay in the woods away from everybody and lose your mind that way like The Shining. Otherwise, when you go around people, when you go to places, this stuff's on and you can see everybody around you getting poisoned and indoctrinated. It really does break your heart. This is spiritual warfare. This is how they're doing it. They're doing it through manipulation and mind control. Everything you see is psychological. Everything. All this stuff that they create, the fear of World War III and martial law, this is all psychological. This is all how MK Ultra works. Right? Trauma-based mind control. They continue to create the trauma on people by making you live in fear of these things that are going to go on. And then they continually, show these things that are actually real in the movies and the TV shows, right? Satanism, satanic ritual abuse, the stuff that goes on. They show you this stuff. This is the real stuff. And then on the news, you're just seeing nothing but lies, and you're thinking that that's the world you're living in, when in reality, the world you're living in is the stuff that you're seeing in these movies, right? Normalizing drinking blood in The Bachelorette. Making laughter and light of, a bunch of kids doing a satanic ritual. I bet people out there wouldn't find it funny if they knew what these people really did during these rituals. And I've pointed them out. I mean, how many times do I need to talk about Mick Martin or talk about the Little Rascals case or all these cases out there that exist where they talk about satanic rituals occurring and everybody goes, oh, that's not real. Those things don't really happen, but they continually show you them happening in movies and stuff. And then they act like, oh, these kids come forward and they make up all this sexual abuse against them. They just make it up. They just, oh, the 3-year-old happens to know stuff about genitalia and private parts and all this type of stuff. They just happen to know it, and then they have an agenda to make it up and pick on the adults. I mean, Hall, it's a scary world we live in. Everything like it's supposed to be for them has been inverted and flipped upside down. This has been their plan from the get-go, to invert and pervert. Unfortunately, everybody around us is sleeping. So these are just a few things I saw this week, in addition to the music videos that I covered. If you want to go back to whatever the guy wants to call himself, Triple X Temptation, I could care less if I can pronounce the guy's name right. Really could care less. So please don't tell me how to pronounce it in the description below or the comments below. From that person to the Young Thug, I mean, it is everywhere. And this is just in the last 5, 6, 7 days. And this is just stuff that I've seen in the last 3 days or 2 days. So I just wanted to point it out to you. It's everywhere. It's not stopping. And, they're just continuing to desensitize people to it. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.